January 2024. Happy New Year. I'm a bit late with the goals on the TBR, but it is what it is. The goals are probably going to go up tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to go through my January MBR. And I started this the back end of last year. I've tried games, I've tried many different ways of setting my TBR, and none of them have worked consistently. I've tried different games, I've tried using other people's games, I've tried making my own, and I feel that, along with the fact that last year I did also host / take part in a lot of read-alongs, that sounds right, read-alongs, it sort of restricted my reading a bit. However, this year I'm going to do things slightly different so that I can get in my mandatory reads and I can still mood read in addition to whatever I put on this TBR. You all know that I can read a lot in a month. I read 200 books last year, which to some people is a lot, to others it's not as much. Generally, I can read upwards of 10 books a month. You know, I think the lowest I read was about 8 in a month last year, I think. When I go through goals and stats, you'll be able to see. But this year, I am bringing back my 12 books, 12 prompts. And I have a list. So all my friends who have chosen a book and a prompt for me this year are going to go on a spinny wheel. And their names have been put on the wheel. And whatever they pick will come up. This year I actually wrote down what people picked rather than having to refer to the video every time because I'm an idiot and I didn't track things. So this is how this is going to go. So that's going to be the first thing I pick. I have also done an indie priority reads list and a series I need to catch up on list. I can't remember if those videos are already out yet or if they're going to be coming out, but I have 18 books. I think this was in part of my Bookmas videos. I have 18 books that I have physically own that are like waiting to be read. The authors that I have not read from before. So there's 18 books on this list. And I'm gonna do a dice roll. I say dice roll. I'm gonna do a random number generator to pick one of these each month, and now I know 18, 12 doesn't make sense. There'll be some that I'm missing. If I get through the books that I want to read, or if I decide priority of the month that I have space in my brain to prioritise another one of these books, then I will do another roll and it will be in one of my vlogs. But I want to do at least one of these a month. And the reason why I say space in my brain is because a lot of these are physical reads. And as you all know, I struggle to read just physically. There are then series I need to catch up on. And I've written them all down. I did write 24. There is 25. Because Muse of Nightmares isn't on there. And, but we're just gonna... I'll pick it up at some point next year. This fits well on my little page. So I am not messing up my spread. No, I can't even add it at the top. Nope, 24 staying there because that's all I can fit on my spread. So I am then going to roll again and going to pick numbers between 1 and 24. And then each month I'm going to pick up one book from a continuing series. Yay for me. So the way this is going to work is I have written down each book, each series, and how many books I've got left from each of those series to read. So if I roll a 13, Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Cahill, I've got to read book 3. That's still 3.5 to read, like the novella. So I will leave that in my little number generator. And then if I get 13 again, that'll get taken off and it'll go down to 23 rather than 24. Does that make sense? Does it? Possibly. There are some things on here that will automatically be taken off, such as the Raven Boys. I am reading that at the moment. I am trying to put a vlog together and rereading the books, but that's taken longer than I expected it to because brain wasn't working back into last year. And also the Throne of Glass series, I will be working my way through that as well. So if those are landed on, then I'll use that as mine for my pick for that month, if that makes sense. So I've got to read Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash. So if I rolled a 20, or if number 20 came up on the number generator, then it would be Empire of Storms. I wouldn't have to pick an extra book. Does that make sense? Hope it does make sense to you, because it doesn't make sense to me. And I think that is the gist of everything that's going to be added, I think. They're the only things I'm adding. I do have some vlog things that I want to do. But, well, they're not time sensitive vlogs, so that's absolutely fine. And obviously, we'll just see. We'll just see what can fit and see if this works. If I need to rejig things, I'll rejig things. I do also have a full physical TBR coming your way, which was a bitch to edit. I did not realise how many times I would just get flustered, and books, I would forget how to read a book, like read the title and author of a book. It was ridiculous. There'll be at some point throughout the year where I'll be picking books from there to read as well. So if you see that video and you would like to comment on a book that you'd like me to read, then please do so, because I will be using those comments in videos throughout the year. Anyway, first up, we are going to be doing the Spinny Wheel. So all my friends' names are on here. I'm going to turn the brightness down so it doesn't blind you. Can you see that? Ring light? Yeah, ring light. ring light, sorry. So we're gonna... So Tori was first. So Tori picked 2. And also Tori's prompt is amazing. Okay, well, they're all amazing. If you haven't seen my 12 books, 12 prompts video, then I will link it somewhere below, somewhere above or in the description below. So Tori's pick was The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy or The Fellowship of the Ring. Because she did her clip before Meg and Chloe, and Meg and Chloe both loved that book, so she gave me options. I think, and people may hate me for this, I think I'm going to go for The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy from those options. Big if, I get through the other things that I've got to prioritise, then, and I feel like picking that up, I will get it. I don't physically own it yet, but I do know the audiobooks are supposed to be amazing by Andy Serkis, so I may pick it up on audio, but for now, we're just going to say, Tori, we're picking Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, and the prompt was self-care with a focus on manga. So throughout this month, I am just going to have a smattering of manga, just sprinkled throughout the month, and I adore this, because Tori, surprise, surprise, not to anybody, got me a manga for Christmas, and it was Vampire Night Volume 4, which I was struggling to find anywhere. 3 and 4 have just been really hard to get hold of, but she got me Volume 4, which, thank you so much. And I love Vampire Night. I don't talk about it enough. I will be talking about it in my manga series videos that I do this year. But yeah, I'm so excited for that. I am so excited for that. So next up, oh my god. While we're here doing the phone stuff, should we just do the number generator? I feel excited, but I'm also nervous that this is totally out of my hands. What I will say is that if I don't get around to these, I'm not going to kick myself, and they will get read, but this just gives me... I need a choice of books to read from. I can't have no TBR whatsoever, because as you will see from my physical unread TBR, I have a lot of books, and I struggle to focus at the best of times, so having to focus on, like, and choose between a large volume of large amount of options is just, my brain, it just shuts down and it's like, I'm not picking any. So these are just books that I would like to get to. The only ones that are books that I have to get to are for read-alongs that are going to be coming up in my book club, but other ones are just ones I would like to get to. So then I'm just gonna put that out there. So, can you see this? So we've got 1 to 18. And that is number 4. So, number 4 is... Oh my god! This wasn't even planned. This genuinely, you saw, like, there was like 0 cuts in that. No, oh my god. Right, okay. Renier by Carl Forshaw is number 4. As you can see, I'm going to show you. Renier, my handwriting is awful, I'm so sorry. By Carl Forshaw is number 4. And oh my, I've been speaking to Carl recently. That book was kindly gifted to me, but it will not in any way, shape or form impact how I review the book. But I was speaking to Carl recently because if you don't know, we're doing book tours. Me and Chels from No Secret Bookaholic have started a business this year. We're doing indie book tours, and we were discussing an option of doing a tour with him. And I was gonna read this book anyway, and this is here. Like, this is perfect. This is perfect. So that's that one. That was a shock, wasn't it? Bloody hell! Check it out. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have 1 to 24. And once again, you can see that that's where it finished before, was number 4. And 1. So the first series on here is the Athena Club. Oh my god. The Athena Club by Theodora Goss. The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, I forgot that when I was doing the last video. I adored that book. And I don't know which way around. I think the thickest book is the middle book, which is the European something or other. I can't remember. If I can find a thingy, I'll put it here. If not, Lisa's being lazy editing. If I can find a thing here. So, oh my god, I'm so excited. This is shaping up to be a very chill time for me. I don't think any of these books would be too much. I think the Illborn Saga, Adewell Sin, would be a lot because that is purely physical. The writing's tiny. I would have been worried about that one at this point. And the Bone Season books would have been a worry for me, I think. I don't own the rest of the Bone Season series, if that's what it's called. And I have to review the Bone Season anyway, so yeah, those would have been a bit of a ick for me, but I'm happy. Okay, let's just crack on with other books that I would like to get to. And just because we're switching it up, I'll go through my priority reads at the end, books that I need to do at the end. Now, these 2 books look like big boys. Well, they are big boys, and you know I love a big one. I'm going to try and reread these 2 before Christmas Day 3 comes out. House of Flame and Shadow. I keep saying it the wrong way around. Is it Shadow and Flame? Flame and Shadow. The shadows and the flames are somewhere in the title. And I'm going to try and read books 1 and 2 before the book comes out. Have I booked the 30th of January off so I can actually just snatch up an audio and read it audibly if the physical book isn't in my hands at the time? Yes. I have. At me. Don't care. I love Sarah J. Maas's writing, and these are the most well-written, lyrical, and like amazingly nuanced prose. No, they're just fun, and they're a great weapon. So if anyone tried to bagel me, I could do damage with these. So it's a 2 for 1. The big boy that I want to get to is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. If you don't know, Becca did the By the Angel along last year and the year before. It ran over like 2 years. She did put a poll up and ask if people would like to read Swordcatcher and discuss it in, I think it's in February we're discussing this. Even though it's not part of the Shadowhunter series, it's the first and an adult series. But because it's Cassie Clare, and anyone who was reading Cassie Clare at the time was generally interested in this, the poll came out as like, we were going to read this and do the live show on it. And I am not hosting this. This is hosted by Becca from Becca Fowle. But I have the hardback arc. The next of things I want to get to, Empire of Stones by Sarah J. Maas. I nearly forgot her name then. Empire of Stones by Sarah J. Maas. Is this going to be like the 4th Sarah J Maas book that I read in January, because I will be reading book 3 of Prison City at the end of January, yes. But are we going to talk about it? No. I will be taking no questions at this time. I haven't also finished Queen of Shadows. So I'll be reading the last part of Queen of Shadows in January as well, because we're going on an SJM binge, okay? And I am here for it. I'm loving it. Living life right now. We are then going to go on to my reads that I need to read, because I am a host for things. So I only have 3 priority reads that I have to read. But I'm also very excited to read. So there's mine and Gemma's podcast book, which is Katherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. I gave Gem full reign on picking these books, because if you followed me all last year, and if you followed the podcast last year, you'll see that Meg recommended a book that was out of my comfort zone, which was Juniper and Thorn. I read The Pallbearers Club, which is out of my comfort zone. I read Sundial by Katherine Ward. And prior to that, I'd read Southern Book Club Kind Slaying Vampires by Greta Hendricks. So there were quite a few books, and Christina Henry, that are out of my comfort zone, that are not my standard, like, sci-fi or contemporary reads. And 2024 is the year that I'm gonna allow myself to follow that feeling that I'm getting about reading certain things out of my comfort zone. I'm not gonna go full-on horror thriller, like, deep dive into those genres, and because I know that as a whole, not everything is going to work for me, but there are certain books that intrigue me, and this was one of them. So I gave Gem full reign, but she got worried about it, so she sent me a few links on Goodreads and was like, this is what I want to read. She's also restricted by the fact that some of the picks that she wanted to pick were part of her Roadhouse thing that she's doing on a Discord. She's picking books for the Roadhouse reads. So if you don't really know, Gem does have a Discord. If you don't know, Gem does have a Discord. I'll leave that link down below. So these are books that were free reign for us to read, and for the podcast we are picking a book every other month now instead of every month. So I'm excited to get to this. Is it like a sentient house, a sentient sorority university thing? I don't know. It's something creepy. It feels like this book is slightly gothic, but also having a potential sentient house, like the house choosing you. Like, is that fantastical? Is it like a genre blend? I don't know. I'm interested anyway, and I'm rambling now, so there we go. And the second to last book, and I don't know why I picked this one out, because now that I've got it in my hands, I'm scared. Empire of the Vampire. Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. This is a Kristoff long book. And when I was picking books for this video, I don't know why I picked the most expensive copy that I've got, because I'm an idiot, and now I'm worried about that I'm gonna like drop it and damage it. It should just stay on my shelf and look pretty. But I will be reading this copy. I'll be reading my standard edition. I have the standard, the Illumicrate, and the beautiful illustrated edition. And this was one of the best reads that I read in 2022. Like, hands down, screaming, crying, throwing up. It was amazing. I know it's not to everyone's taste, and I'm well aware of people's thoughts, feelings and ponderances on the author, and I genuinely mean I'll be taking no questions about him. Think what you want. I love this book. I love most of the things I've read by J. Kristoff, and I will continue to read from him. That sounded really harsh, but I feel like some people comment without full research on the issues, so we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, to end this TBR, MBR situation on it, we've got The Heresy Within by Rob J. Hayes. This is part of the series The Ties That Bind. I think he's one of, or if not his first trilogy that he wrote. It looks dark. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of stabby in my heart and all the feels, but also like in the book. I don't I don't know how I'm gonna go with this, but I'm excited. I've never read anything by Rob J. Hayes before. I've heard amazing things about Along the Razor's Edge and that whole series by Covers with Cassidy and from Chels. But we are starting for the It's All About Fantasy Book Club. We are reading this series for January, February and March. We are reading the Ties That Bind series, starting with The Heresy Within. I'm so excited, and for all of you lovely audio girlies and guys out there, and for all you lovelies that love a good audio, the Ties That Bind, all three, are available on Audible for £1. And a couple of his series are actually all available on Audible for £1. I think the Mortal Techniques is as well. So if you do love a good audio, head over to Audible, because you can get all three books for £1. I'm excited for this TBR. I have not felt this revived and refreshed and fully happy with a TBR for a while. Or MBR, whatever you want to call it. Which, maybe it's something I need to pick my own brain as to why I put myself through things like that. But in between this, I will obviously be reading the manga because Tori told me to. It's a prompt. It's a self-care prompt. But I do also have 5 novellas to read. And that sounds like a lot, but they are all about 100 and or so pages each. And I'm already most of the way through The Necromancer called Gam Gam. And I'm really enjoying it. So, yeah. All of these, bar Katherine House, I currently have an audio. And we'll probably do a mixed media read of all of these. And if I'm going to be honest, I could probably get through them in the first 2 weeks of January. Because I do read that much. Like, if I wanted to, like, if that's all I did in my spare time. I might space things out because it's a lot of Sarah J. Maas. And I've noticed that as I read the same author, even if it's different books, there certain, what's it called? The things that they do, the traits that they portray through their writing, like there's certain, I can't remember what the word is, but there's certain things that they do in their writing that's just like, that's a Kristoff book, that's a Sarah J. Maas book, and like that's a Tessa Bailey book. Yeah, like there's certain, well, I can't remember the word. If I remember it, so yeah. If Edit Lisa remembers, she'll put it down below. But yeah, I don't want to overwhelm myself with too much Sarah J. Maas all at once. So I might leave the Crescent City books to the back end of the month, just before book 3, and then finish Queen of Shadows and start Empire of Storms at the beginning of the month. That might be the way that I go in my brain. But I did forget to say, Kristoff along, the Empire of the Vampire is over 6 weeks. So the way that it works is, obviously it's a thicker book, but we wanted to time it for Empire of the Damned coming out. So we are doing Empire of the Vampire for like a 6-week period, and then we'll do the live show, and then when Empire of the Damned comes out, you could just roll over and like, so it gives you enough time to read the book. So again, it is a priority, but if it ends up being the back end of Jan, beginning of Feb that I read it, no worries, because it's the last of February anyway. That is done, that's me done, and I don't know what this whole vibe is today, but I'm feeling good, and it's really worrying that I feel good. So again, unpick that in the brain. If you don't like me and you want to see more of me, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're here and you want to let me know you're here, if you don't have anything to say, please leave a black heart, very much appreciated. And until the next video, Happy New Year!
I left my phone at my brother's place.